Hello everyone. Today we're going to discuss about this amazing Git repository that I recently found that helps me a lot with my deep learn and deployment of deep learning frameworks, not only on my laptops and desktops but also on my mobiles. So the repository is NCNN. NCNN is basically a convolution neural network inference framework specially optimized for mobile platforms such as Android and iOS. So, if you were thinking about what is a framework, let's take help from our beloved friends at NVIDIA. So, according to them, if a trained model is used to predict something or new things it infer new things, then in the AI lexicon this is known as inference. So that should clear up the doubt of what is an inference model. So once again, let's I introduce you to NCNN, which is an inference framework, not a training framework. This means that it has already been trained. So before moving on, let's break down the essentials of the Git repository. So the number of people who have starred this repository is 5,589, and the number of people who have forked this repository to work on their own is 1,469. And this is the master branch that we are currently in. And as we can see, there have been 11 releases and 53 contributors. Also, the number of commits is quite large, obviously owing to the large number of contributors and folks. Sorry. So, uh, to help with, obviously, since it is big repository, to help with the guiding of new beginners, they have provided us with a really detailed README file. So, README file very efficiently explains that NCNN is a model which is optimized which helps anybody to deploy deep learning models not only on the laptops but also on their mobile platforms, and it does not have any third party dependencies, so you don't have to install anything else to make this run on your devices. Also, the plus point is since also the plus point with using NCNN is that it runs faster than all known open source frameworks on mobile phone CPU. This is a very big plus point since nowadays everything is shifting to mobile. So even and the major problem is that we don't have efficient frameworks to deploy deep learning and neural network models on mobile. This is where NCNN comes in. It helps developers easily deploy deep learning algorithms, be it Android or be it iOS. So NCNN is currently being used by Tencent applications such as QQ, QZone, WeChat, P2, and so on, obviously, because of its high usability. As you can see, it supports most of the commonly used CNN networks: classic CNN, VG, AlexNet, practical CNN. And so let's refer to actually the building process of how to build NCN library. It can be built according to with the help of these tutorials. We can build it on Linux, Windows, Raspberry Pi 3, Android, and iOS. So if we go for the build Linux, we can first of all we have to install G++, CMake, and Protobuf, and we have to install OpenCV for building an example. Next, for the prerequisites for Windows, 64-bit is Visual Studio Community Edition. Obviously, you can use Enterprise Edition also. So first of all, we have to download and install Visual Studio and then follow the steps provided in this link. and then protobuf library again, and then we can build the NCNN library. macOS, we have to install Xcode and then protobuf. We can use homebrew also to install. Raspberry Pi follows the same path as Linux, as we have to install G++, CMake and protobuf. Okay, so for descriptive steps, you can refer to the link provided below. And since for all those mobile developers out there, they have also provided link for Android and iOS. This is a pretty detailed step as compared to the desktop operating systems, because they have certain other dependencies to look after, because you have to pre-build NCNN library zip from the link provided here. Then you have to install Android NDK and then go on building the library. And same for Mac OS, as we have to obviously using Xcode, then we have to build libraries directly. We have to build a library for simulator as well, and then you have to package the whole framework to make it a complete set. So this was the build part. The If you have any problem, if you have any sort of the most common errors is the throw error that people often refer to as which is the param is too old. Param is a file, a number of files, parametric file. Like here, if we go to the benchmark, they have this googlenet.param, manaset, mnasnet.param, mobilenet.param, and so on. This is a parametric file which contains all the parameters that a user needs to run the program. And sometimes it so happens that param is too old that we need to regenerate. Yeah, so they have answered each and every frequently asked questions in a very detailed manner so as to help people. So another section in FAQ is the NCNN produces wrong result. So if suppose your cafe model is not storing your weights in the desired matrix dimensions that you want, suppose if the user wants the kernel or the weights to be stored in 3 by 3 model, but it is not doing so, you can actually check the input if it is RGB or BGR, that is red green blue or blue green red. So they have this detailed description that sometimes it may happen that a model can if you that if your cafe model is trained using C++ cafe and OpenCV, then the input image should be BGR order. If the input image has any other order, such as if it has a RGB order, then it would create such a problem, that is the weight would be stored in some other sequence, because the sequence of input is the sequence in which it is stored. So this is just an example of the many other issues that are addressed in the FAQ section. Then the repository goes on to explain the numerous features that it has. One thing that actually caught my eye the first time I opened the Git repository, that it has a pure C++ implementation. Since C++ is very close to assembly level language, that is why it is very fast. That is very fast unless and until you're using advanced Python. Uh, so for the beginners, it is it, that for the beginners it helps a lot of people because it is cross-platform also. So the NCNN modern can also be used along with PyTorch, Onyx, Cafe, MXNet, etc., etc., making it very adaptable and very helpful for a lot of developers out there. Then we have the functional overview, which explains whatever dependencies and whatever helpful model, whatever way the model can help us. So if you want some inspiration on how to actually use this NCNN, you have the links provided, as you can see the uh, squeeze CNN repository, which has all the files. And since it is an Android implemented file, because you can see the Android manifest XML, so the proof of the projects are being given. Like here you can see the using NCNN, you identify a lemon with a 0.585 confidence. That's 58% confidence, with 58% accuracy. You can say that is a lemon using NCNN. It has been implemented. And the next is object detection. So which is whose link is also which the link of which project is also provided in the example projects. So it clearly detects a car, a dog, a horse, a man, and some other people in the background also. Then the face detection and smile detection also. These are just a few of the many projects that you can uh, implement using NCNN. And it actually helps a lot of people because the kit is pure, almost straightforward and is of entry level, so any developer out there can actually use it. Thank you.